Hello. I'm so pleased to be here. I've traveled a very long way.
Unfortunately, he used up all your time.
I knew I would be next. I intended it. A few years ago, from a place of alignment, I attracted the most beautiful mate. The most beautiful mate. And we had some lovely years together. And about a few months ago, we discussed living together, and it was my desire to live together, and it was his desire to not to live together. And I used that as an excuse to get out of the vortex. And a few weeks ago, he ended the relationship. And in that moment, I sent forth the most powerful rocket of desire I have ever experienced. And that is to be with him again, and to be married to him, which was news to me. I never knew I wanted that. And there are days when I'm in appreciation. There's days when I'm grateful for everything that we've had. There's days I'm in despair. And I'm not used to feeling so up and down and up and down. And I would love your input on this.
Well, the thing that is most uncomfortable about your current situation is that it feels to you like your happiness, your relationship with your vortex, is dependent upon what somebody else does. And you can't control that. We were talking with our friend a little earlier, to be in that sort of a place that feels like a bind, and to send a powerful rocket of desire with the ulterior motive of sending a rocket out to fix what's broken so that you can feel better.
Yeah.
Is just sort of a backwards approach to it. Now, it's easy for us to say, and not always so easy for you to hear, but situations like this, where you send those rockets forth, create even better relationships for you.
Yeah.
And it's clear that something that you very much wanted from this relationship was something that he very much did not want. It's an interesting thing. What you feel as soothing your sense of insecurity, to him feels like a loss of freedom. And so it's sort of like he has to give up something he wants in order for you to get what you want, when you play in the very narrow relationship field when it's just the two of you. But if instead you can step back and say, oh, well, this was just data collecting, and this was just helping me through the course of the relationship to define what I really want in a relationship, and thank you very much for helping me define it. So I have created, speaking of you, I have created a relationship, and it's in my vortex of creation waiting for me, but your attention to this person who claims not to be it keeps you from going in the vortex too. You never will have a satisfying experience when you think that your vortex work is done to control the behavior of another so that you can feel better. In other words, it's still the same old thing. I need to control the circumstances and events so that I will feel better. And what it really comes down to, nobody ever likes this advice when we give it to them. They ask for it, but they never like it when we give it to them, is that you have two choices. You can be without this person and unhappy, or without this person and happy. And if you choose to be, because the third option isn't on the table, being drag him and you into the vortex and make him marry you. So when you say, I am determined to be happy, and further, I'm even more empowered because this data helped me decide more clearly what I want. This isn't a question about whether you're right or he's right, about how relationships should unfold. This is about you living enough life to know clearly what you want, and him helping you put it in a very clear way, and now the universe has already orchestrated that. The question is, how long are you going to use that relationship as your excuse not to go rendezvous with what you're really asking for?
It's when I think of him, I love every single aspect of him.
Well, maybe that's true and maybe it's not, but we all witnessed just now, you thought of him and went into the vortex, and then you thought of him and the vortex spit you out. Because thinking of him can put you in the vortex, and thinking of the absence of him can spit you out of the vortex.
Yeah.
But the thought of him is not very safe territory, is it?
No, no.
In other words, if you're determined to be in the vortex, and this is the thing that's hard to hear, because sometimes, in fact, really, really often, people want to know how to get in the vortex so that the vortex can work its magic and make something turn out the way they want it. And we say, you're misusing the vortex. You want to get in the vortex because it feels good in there, period. You want to get in there because now you're who you are, period. You want to get in there because that's where you belong. And if you get in there and learn to hang around in there consistently, then you'll start getting the inspiration to move in the direction of everything that you want. And oh, life is so fun when you're hanging around and moving around in the vortex.
I would like to ask also, when I do have thoughts of him, I know you said it's unsafe territory, but I'm reminded of him everywhere I look, music, everything, all the time.
Well, then you've got to find a way to make those thoughts work for you. And the fastest way to get there is, you were so good for me and I was so good for you, but the greatest gift you've given me is that you sharpened my awareness of who I really am and caused me to create. You see, what you're creating, you're not creating a relationship, you're creating you in a relationship. You're not creating money, you're creating you in a financial experience. In other words, you are the creator of you. So what you want to say to him as you think about him is, you were so helpful to me, because you, beside the fun we had together, you helped me to clarify who I am and what I want, to the degree that now what's in my vortex is so much more evolved. And it would not be if it had not been for you. Thank you so much for the step along the way in my creation of me that you were. You see, when you get in the vortex, here's the value of just getting in there and hanging around just for the heck of it, just because we say so. Here's the value of it. Once you're consistently hanging around in there, your self-confidence comes back into its natural rhythm. Your sense of worthiness and well-being comes back into its natural rhythm. And all that's happened here is that he caused you to create a relationship that you have not yet lived. You've got to figure out how to find the vibrational essence of it and live it before the relationship can be yours, you see. You have not yet been, and this is true of almost everyone, you are not yet a vibrational match to the relationship of your dreams.
I know.
And this person who has just left is not a vibrational match to the relationship of your dreams. In other words, he didn't go because you're not lovely to be with, and he didn't really go because you scared him away. He went because he's not a match to the relationship that he helped you create. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
And so when you think of him, you want to say, thanks so much for all of it. And I'm so pleased with what we created for me and for you as a result of being together. And now I'm going to do my very best to give my undivided attention to whatever thoughts take me into that vibrational vicinity where the trail will unlight before me, where the rendezvous will begin. And we promise you, there'll be a time when you sat down, you began by talking about this delicious relationship, which lasted just seconds as you began, because you went right to the lack of it. But there is something so much bigger in your future than anything that you've left behind.